And I mean, obviously, India has been on my mind this week, and we're doing everything we can, given the awful humanitarian crisis with COVID, just to get oxygen there, to get PPE there, to make sure that we could get our vaccines licensed there. And Tom, let me just bring this issue up because it's so important. Pfizer and Moderna are refusing to sell vaccines to not just India, but 100 countries around the world. This is going to come for a vote May 5th. We need a TRIPS waiver, which doesn't mean that we're asking pharmaceutical companies to give these vaccines away for free. What we're saying is they should be forced to license them, to be paid for them, and they should not be allowed to hoard them and deny every other country the ability to manufacture. So that's the crisis currently in India that we're working on. But I hear you about the elephants. If you write to my office, and I'm happy to look into it and see what we can do.
What's TRIPS that we need to have waived?
So TRIPS, Tom, this is I think is one of the key moral issues of our time. Right now, there are about 100 countries that do not have the ability to use the vaccine formula for Pfizer or Moderna to make their own vaccines. So Pfizer and Moderna are basically choosing which contract manufacturers to allow. And Pfizer got this technology, the mRNA technology, from two Turkish couples from a Turkish couple who invented it. That couple, through BioNTech, basically said, okay, we're going to be the exclusive suppliers to Germany and Turkey, and they partnered with someone to supply China, and Pfizer got exclusive jurisdiction over the rest of the world. And Pfizer has been selective in only operating with a few select contract manufacturers. So if they don't give you, and they've gotten requests from manufacturers around the world, and they're simply refusing to give them the vaccine formula to be able to manufacture it. This is why we have had a dismal rate of getting people in other parts of the world vaccinated. What TRIPS would do is it would say that you're required as a compulsory matter to license your IP in this medical case to any contract manufacturer, any company that wants it, any country that wants it. They're required to pay you a fair rate for it. And we did this before President Bush with drugs regarding AIDS. President Biden needs to support that waiver of IP, and it's going to come to a head in about a week.
Is that, a dear friend of mine, Alan Ratner, who knows Bush and is a great Democrat, used to say, the one good thing George Bush did is he saved millions of lives in Africa. Is that how he did it, by pushing through essentially this waiver on the TRIPS waiver? I'm still not sure what the acronym stands for, but is that how Bush accomplished that?
That was one of the things, and then he also gave direct aid of $5 billion or so and set up a fund and had U.S. assistance. But the waiver was a huge part of it. And, there are two common misconceptions. One is, well, are we just asking Pfizer or Moderna to give it away? No, you're not. You get compensated based on the license. But what Pfizer and Moderna want to do cynically is to maintain a monopoly on it so that they get to determine the distribution, so that they get to determine the vaccine, the boosters, and most importantly, they don't want a generic alternative coming. That would be even understandable if they had anywhere near the manufacturing capacity to vaccinate the rest of the world, but they don't. And so what you have is this really cruel situation where they're refusing to sell. They're refusing to sell the formula, and you've got countries like India stuck simply with AstraZeneca, which is not an mRNA technology. It can't be scaled as fast. It is not sufficient to be able to vaccinate their population. And there are 100 other countries in this situation. South Africa, India, many emerging countries have asked the WTO to waive the IP requirement and require licensing.
Intellectual property.
The administration, the intellectual property. So far, President Biden has refused to do so, even though he explicitly promised. Andy Barkin tweeted this out. He has a video where he asks candidate Biden, will you promise to waive this? Will you make sure that everyone has access to the vaccine? And President Biden said, absolutely, emphatically, yes. And the only reason we wouldn't waive this is pure pharma greed. It would be that Pfizer and Moderna want a monopoly on this. And Moderna got the IP from NIH, so they got it from taxpayers. Pfizer got a $2 billion guarantee from us, U.S. taxpayers, and they got the technology from a Turkish couple. So it is just inexcusable.